Happy Thursday, I'm Rob. Wednesday, happy Wednesday, I'm Rob Mack.
And I'm Justin Moye. This is EverTalk Live, coming to you live Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. for all things happiness in Hollywood, a little pop culture and positivity. I'm glad it's Wednesday.
I know. Boy, if I could only remember the day.
Now, the Earth was shaking last night, so I don't know if any of us in Southern California slept well. Earthquake 3.6. Thank you.
Right.
Everybody's okay, but it really shakes me up.
I know. I don't know if it knocked sense into me or out of me.
Oh,
but yeah.
It takes everything out of me.
So the epicenter was where? It was like in
San Fernando. But
okay.
You
felt it.
Oh, absolutely. I felt like the hands of God wrapped themselves around my apartment building and just shook me awake. And I woke up and it sends me into a total irrational panic. I'm not going to lie. I put clothes on. I slept with my glasses. I had to go bag at the end of my bed.
Glasses? You've got glasses?
Yes, I have glasses. I'm wearing contacts.
I've never seen your glasses.
And I'm terrified.
Yeah.
As a girl sleeping alone in her bed at night, the earth is going to shake and my life is going to be over. So
I don't think it's irrational fear. I think that's very rational fear, particularly in LA.
Oh.
You know, and everybody talks about the big one, which is, you know, scary in of itself.
Scary in and of itself. My friends always make fun of me because I have an earthquake kit in my kit. Yeah, but the kit really, it's a hiking or earthquake. So really it's just a pair of
what?
sneakers.
Hiking or earthquake,
and
yeah.
some leggings with a cute little shirt. So I need to go on a sunset hike or there's an earthquake, I'm good.
Do you have like emergency supplies in there though? Like batteries and water?
Cliff bars. I mean,
Cliff
there
bars.
you go.
All right.
A girl's
Counts.
glass on a Cliff Bar for fire.
You can. It's pretty amazing.
I'll admit I've never been very practical.
Yeah.
But I feel prepared nonetheless.
For sure. I got to say, I definitely prefer the hurricanes. I used to live in Miami, so I prefer the hurricanes to the earthquakes. But nonetheless, I'm glad that everybody's safe.
Oh,
yeah.
No kidding. Have you heard that song about the earthquake? You know, if there was an earthquake and the world was over, you'd come over, right?
Oh, wow. No, I haven't. I don't know that song.
It's a good
Is it?
Oh, yeah. But it'll just, make you all emotional.
Yeah, especially if you're already scared of earthquakes.
Exactly. Well, I'm happy to be here and that the world has stopped shaking this morning, but we're excited to welcome our very special guest. Hello, everyone. Back in the studio. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We've got two gentlemen with us today. Michael Horn is in the house. He is an international speaker, author, filmmaker, a UFO expert.
I know. Look at this picture right here. Oof.
Seriously? Chills.
He's going to tell us about that, huh?
So, Michael, how do you wake up and stay woke? What's your morning routine like?
Ideally, I like to take some deep breaths, do a little stretching or qigong, but realistically, I always end up at my computer before I'm officially awake.
Love that. I appreciate that you're honest. Qigong, I love that. When did you start the Qigong practice?
About 30 years ago, actually, after doing about 10 years before that with Tai Chi and also. But it's been about a 45-year practice with Qigong and Tai Chi.
Huh, fantastic. That's the first time you've heard that, huh? On the show?
Yeah, absolutely. Ian Winter is in the house. He's the author of Ubiquitous Relativity. My Truth is Not the Truth. Ooh. So what is the truth?
Indeed. Guess we'll find out, huh?
We want to know, Ian, how do you wake up and stay woke? What's your morning routine like?
Well, I'd say that there's a few things. First, there's what I don't do, which is turn on the phone for about half an hour. But the most important things for me are I usually get up and write a gratitude list of about 5 different things that I'm grateful for, just as a reminder of the things I do have, as opposed to the things I don't. And then when I'm in the shower, I always have one daily routine where I think about a situation from yesterday, and I think about a way I could have acted differently. And then I try to go through my mind so that if I see that same situation again today, I may be less judgmental of somebody and more open to a connection.
Fantastic. Love the self-correction exercise. Also love the gratitude list. I know number 1, of course, is Jez and I, but what else is on your gratitude list?
Jez, I'd say, is number 1.
Oh, man, I knew that was coming.
Tell me more.
Set you up for that.
But no, I think it doesn't have to be huge things. It's just little things like, wow, I'm vertical and out of bed. I'm able to sleep in a warm bed. I have food in the refrigerator when I go to get it. So little things like that, just as a reminder, especially in a city like this where it's easy to get caught up in feeling less than because we don't have all these nice things. It's an opportunity to remind ourselves, hopefully, of what's important.
Fantastic. Let's start the day with the gratitude. Love it.
Absolutely. Today I'm grateful for you, Rob,
Ah,
and that the
likewise,
world
Jez.
stopped moving. Thank
It's always
you
a
all.
good thing.
Yes, thanks so much for being with us. We look forward to continuing the conversation later in the show.
Oh my goodness, Jess. So you got big plans. I know it feels like Wednesday. Wednesday is like hump day, so it feels like we're almost
I
at
was
the
convinced
weekend.
it was Thursday morning.
I know, totally. Are you kidding? I mean, it's mind-blowing. Like 3 days feels like 4. 4 days feels like 10.
Like 4.
Yeah.
Well, we had a wild morning beyond the earthquake. So as many of you know, I started trading stocks.
Yes.
And am hosting a little show called The Trading Bell. I'm live every market day at 6:30 a.m. Wow. I'm not even a morning person, but this morning was really worth getting up for. Let's take a look. And NTRP is on the run this morning. Wow, absolute wow. NTRP up 113%. Going to use this opportunity to do like I preach and take the profits. What's different about the Trading Bell is that I'm actively live trading with my own money on this show. So going to be responsible, take my profits, because bulls make money, bears make money, and pigs get slaughtered. And I'd rather not get slaughtered. I'd rather shop and pay my bills, because this is a massive, huge win. It is time for that nice new Tiffany ring, please. Of course, that's what I'm calling NTRP. Special thanks to one of our viewers, Bruce. Sell, sell, sell. NTRP up 116%. Buy on the way down, sell on the way up. But I know how you bulls like to buy in, and this is certainly bullish right now. Up 134% NTRP. It's incredible that we can actually trade right here live together from my phone. And of course, it times out. Don't you hate that? The moment when you're clicking trade and then it's like, show your face, re-log in. I'm showing my face. Sell this stock. Okay, we're back. We're back in. Wow, what a Moye moment this is. You know, I've been taking some of what I've invested and investing it back in myself. Recently launching Moye Rosé, available at moyerose.com. It's my first namesake limited edition Santa Barbara, California Rosé. I cannot wait to raise a glass with you at the closing bell.
Moye moment. I love that,
Moye
Jess.
moment. Oh my
great.
gosh. It was on such a run, NTRP. I didn't even have time to finish my hair. You saw that also. It was earthquake crazy, because I got here and before the market even opened, it was just like skyrocketing.
Freaking amazing. Did you ever in your life imagine that you'd be trading, first of all?
Absolutely
And
not.
then doing a show on trading.
No, and it is incredibly empowering. I have absolutely loved learning what I'm learning, and more importantly, I love sharing it with everyone.
Yeah. Always had zero interest in trading, but I have lots of interest in making money. So I'm going to give you my money. You can trade on my behalf. And that's what we call outsourcing. Love that.
Exactly.
Yeah, take a nice
Money,
cut.
money, money, 2020. Abundance. That's what I am all about this year.
Indeed. I love that, Jess. Wow, the Moye movement. You're great with alliterations, too.
Thank
I've
you.
noticed. Yeah.
Well, Rob, it's
Yeah.
Wednesday.
Wednesday. So we talk about wealth
Yes.
and wisdom and productivity. So I found an interesting article in Fast Company. I don't know if there's going to be a whole lot new here, but there are a couple things that I think are worth sort of reminding ourselves of. And that's, they have this article on 6 ways to boost your productivity in the new year. One of the things I thought was most interesting is like closing loops in your head. So when you go on like your laptop or your phone, you've got like 29 tabs open for each website, and it just drives you kind of nuts just to even look at it.
I have like 12 open on my computer
See, there
screen
you go,
right
exactly.
now.
So we kind of have those in our head, right? So the idea is, can we close out of some of those tabs, hopefully most of those tabs, by either completing whatever those tabs are reminding us of, or just closing out nonetheless and not completing any of it, but closing them out just so that you can focus on the things that matter most. Some of the most important things. I think we mostly run around with these ideas in our head of things we want to complete or should do, but they mostly just bring us stress and anxiety, and we never do anything about them.
I've really applied this principle to text messages, because I am so guilty of reading a message and responding in my head, but not actually responding.
Yeah.
And then days later, somebody will reach out to me and say, hey, you didn't respond to my message. And I thought, well, yes, I did. And I look, and sure enough, I haven't.
Yeah.
So the tip for me was, don't even read the message unless I'm allotting the time and the presence to actually communicate and dedicate my whole self to that response.
Oh, that's brilliant. Because the worst thing also that comes with, sort of like being distracted when you're responding to text messages is that sometimes you respond to the wrong person or you say the wrong thing. How many times have you done that? That's scary.
Oh, yeah,
So-
absolutely.
And are you one of those people, because I've noticed there are like two kinds of people. There are the people that keep all of their text messages like forever.
Oh, forever. You could scroll through my phone. I probably have thousands of text messages on my phone right now.
I can't do that. I don't like looking at a like messy inbox. So the second I respond,
I mean, look at that. I can just scroll, scroll for days.
Oh, that's like an anxiety disorder. Oh, I can't do it. Yeah, I can't do it. I need to immediately, when I respond to a text or an email, I delete it. I don't want to see it in there anymore because seeing it in there means that I have to do or take some kind of action around it.
Oh my God.
It just feels messy, but I know it's not.
I mean, I have the same thing. I don't like anything unopened in my inbox. I am like religious about 0 unread emails in my inbox. At the end of the day, my inbox is sorted.
That's going to be tough for you because you get like hundreds
inundated.
Of
Same
emails.
thing with the text messages. So sorry
It's
if I thought I
exhausting.
responded to you. I really did think I responded to you.
It's exhausting.
Oops. Okay. Next.
So the other thing, which the other recommendation they make, which I think we're all kind of aware of, but we still don't really do it, which is stop like task switching or context switching. So if like you're doing email, just do email. Don't do email and then answer the phone and then come back to the email if you can help it. Like try to carve out time for just that one thing at a time. I think it's pretty easy to like. We all know about it, but how many of us actually do it?
Well, aren't we all supposed to be multitasking at all times? I mean, I am guilty of responding to an email on my phone while responding to an email on my computer. Who does that?
Oh, totally. I know. Well, I think, like, to be honest with you, I think most people do. And also, I've noticed that parents have to, or they feel compelled to do it more often, right? Because they've always got the kids, so they're doing that, and they're driving, and then they're doing that, and then they're on the phone. So it's a little tougher, I think, too, when you're a parent. So that's the second one. Let's see if there's another one here. There's 6, but I'm not going to cover them all. The social media detox. I think we're all pretty clear about that. I don't know how many people are actually doing that. And the last one is just stop overthinking and make a decision.
Indecisiveness is the killer to productivity.
It's
Make
exhausting.
a decision, right or wrong, and move on.
Oh, ooh, very nice. That's like a little poet moment for you right there.
No, but seriously, because either it's going to take you 2 weeks to make the decision, and it still might be 50-50, right or wrong, or you decide now in the moment, you deal with it, and you move on.
No, it's true. It's like action cures indecision. And indecision is one of those things that sort of begets more indecision, right? It's like the more indecisive you are, the more indecisive you become.
You know what I've realized? I don't get hangry, I get indecisive.
Yeah.
And this was a serious thing that was killing my productivity. In all honesty, I was skipping breakfast because I thought, I'm going to get in, I'm going to get to the studio, get my work done. And I couldn't focus. I couldn't get it done because I wasn't taking care of my own basic needs, so that I was actually able to focus. I was just hangry and indecisive.
So hence Cliff Bars. That's been the solution, huh?
Well, exactly. The Bristol Farms muffin and some collagen in my coffee, a little brain fuel.
I love that. Gives me another way to think about this earthquake. It was actually, I feel gratitude now because it woke you up so you could eat, because otherwise it might not happen.
And I would be indecisive right now.
Exactly. Which we don't need, right?
We don't need that at all. What we do need you to do is stay tuned because we have a great show ahead. Stay tuned. We'll be right back with more on EverTalk Live. And I'm Jessamine Moyer. This is EverTalk Live, coming to you live Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. in the Ever Media Studios for a little Hollywood and happiness, positivity, and pop culture. On Apple TV and Roku via the EverTalk app, and of course streaming live on all socials.
I've got so much love in my life, and then I get to do this with you every single day. I mean, it's incredible.
If you have a dream, do not let anything stop you.
You can have all the money or all the success in the world, but if you don't have peace, it's all worthless, really, right?
Happiness from the inside out. Please be sure, if you haven't read this book,
That's sweet.
you've got to. I
important to
love
remember.
what we do.
I do too, Jess.
Miracles. I'd like just my life to be an example that miracles exist. I am just so grateful that we get to be a part of this journey together, Rob, whether it's 4 a.m. texting up peanut butter and jellies or coming to you live Monday through Friday every 9 a.m. You know when you're going to see that, Eddie?
Yes.
When we're holding it in our
That's
own
right,
hands,
that's
Rob,
right.
for Best Digital Daytime Talk Show.
What makes people lucky, like actually lucky, is that they believe they're lucky.
But thank you for being my mentor, Rob.
Likewise.
You didn't even know it.
True.
I'm out all the time. I'm everywhere. I'm drinking my wine. I'm doing the show. I'm stepping and repeating. I'm some kind of red carpet. I had a little too much. I said, 1 drink Jeslin. 1 drink Jeslin. 2 tequila Jeslin. 2 tequila Jeslin.
1 drink jazz.
Is this 1 drink Jeslin? I hope you're proud, Rob.
I'm very
reading
proud
a
of you,
book.
actually. I don't know how you have... The hair is killing it today.
Oh, thank
Are
you.
you feeling-
Clearly, we have no fun around here. It's a thing.
Yeah.
Thought of the day: light, love, and magic. Oh, I do it fun. It was wild. Absolutely. Oh my God! Do you know we're still on live, Rob? Right now,
You gotta be kidding.
talking to my angels.
That's hilarious. That's...
love what you do, you don't work a day in your life, right? I absolutely love what I do.
Yeah,
We couldn't do what we do without the support of you watching. Thank you for sharing, for DMing, for commenting, for continuing to support us as we grow and scale our vision. For the people in the studio and their friends and families for having our backs. We're so grateful.
Right. And I'm most deeply and genuinely grateful for you. Truly I am, Jazz. It's just a pleasure every day to get to connect with you and work with you. It's amazing.
Oh, thank you. I'm so grateful for you. We love you, Romac. There isn't a man or woman who hasn't met you and said you're the best dressed person in Los Angeles and the happiest guy we know. It's an honor to be able to do this show with you.
Appreciate that.
Welcome back to EverTalk Live. I am beyond honored to welcome international speaker, renowned author, and UFO expert, Michael Horn, to the show. Thanks so much for being with us.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Now, I know you've been doing a lot of press as the official speaker media advisor for Billy Meyer, right?
Yes.
So who is Billy Meyer?
Pardon me. Billy Meyer is a Swiss man. He's going to be 83 years old shortly. He claims that since he's been a 5-year-old boy, he's been meeting face-to-face voluntarily with human beings from another star system, and he's proved it to a scientific and legal standard.
Whoa.
So let's rewind. Human beings for their star system.
That's correct.
AKA extraterrestrials?
That would be a word that you would apply.
Yeah, but they're human beings.
Human beings.
Interesting.
Not little gray guys, not
Yeah.
weird things, a la science fiction, real people.
So how do they communicate and why?
Good questions. They communicate to him two ways. One is briefly telepathically, they can do that, but they speak to him in German. They learned his language. And actually, I like to say they speak to us in the language of science. And the reason for it is to help us assure our own rather threatened future survival.
Oh, that's interesting. So what kinds of things have they shared? I know they've shared predictions.
Tremendous number of predictions, some of which are expressed as predictions, some of which are simply conveyed conversationally in relationship to questions he might ask them or information they volunteer to him about virtually every planet in the solar system, black holes, conditions in space that we knew nothing about at the time he was being told and when he published it. So he's published information up to 50 and 60 years before NASA officially discovers it.
Wow.
Wow. But what kind of messages do they have specific to our human existence here on this planet?
Well, to be perfectly blunt, we are in a great deal of trouble, more so than most of even the environmentalists recognize. Billy Meyer was the first person. Yeah, I mean, this is where it gets, let's just get the rubber meeting the road, so to speak. Billy Meyer is the first person that I could find who specifically forewarned of unnatural man-made climate change, global warming, the damage to the ozone. He started publishing that when he was 14 years of age, in 1951.
So are they presenting any solutions, or are they
Yes.
just saying, what are they?
Well, the solutions are types of things that we probably in some ways don't welcome. But they are harsh, they're direct, because they're intended to help us, not to harm us. So the core problem is that we have overpopulated our world. Now, a lot of people go crazy when you say that, but get an aquarium and keep putting fish into it. What happens? What they've said to us is virtually all of our challenges and problems are rooted in the fact that we keep overbreeding, and thereby we are competing with each other for resources all the time. A child comes into the world, something else has to be produced, and even our solutions with electric cars, we now have to produce another type of car. So we have to learn to sit down and think our way through it more reasonably. And they have presented quite a bit of information, even to solve our energy needs, cures for cancer, all sorts of stuff.
Wow. Does any of it include moving from planet Earth?
Well,
Is that bad?
Great question.
we can't bring the same problems that we've created here to another world,
Yeah.
and we will eventually colonize Mars and do things like that. And by we, the human race, once we've come together and solved problems, so that when I look at Venice Beach or Marina del Rey imagery, I think, first of all, we shouldn't be living too close to water bodies, because one of the threats from that is with earthquakes and tsunamis, which are only going to increase. We now know specifically which volcanoes, among others, are going to become extremely active, and the threat posed even to our own country and borders.
Wow. You gotta move, Jez.
I know. It's interesting because it's hard not to become terrified
Yeah.
of something that you can't control.
Well, that's life, isn't it? We like to control things.
Yeah.
And what we're learning here is that there is an order to life. The universe that we like to call it the universe of the creation has given laws, immutable laws like cause and effect. And when we learn how the laws operate, while we may disagree as to how to accomplish living in harmony with something, at least we're not polarized then politically, religiously, philosophically. We recognize the eternal value principle.
It's interesting that you use that term recognize, because these findings have now been in corroboration with the Pentagon, with the US Navy, with one of Britain's first astronauts.
That's right.
Can you speak to that a little bit?
A little bit. I can tell you that while the Pentagon and the Navy are now saying UFOs are real and there are extraterrestrials or whatever, they know more that this particular case is the one. It's been going on for almost 78 years.
Wow.
78 years. And this man has survived multiple assassination attempts. He's taken all of these photographs and films and things pre-digital. There's no Photoshop.
Exactly, because it begs the question when I look at this. Obviously, we're thinking, okay, filters, somebody just photoshopped this right in
Or made
there.
a model or something.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
No.
So when were these images taken?
Between 1964 and 1981, he stopped in 81. They said to him, your world is coming into the computer age. People are going to accuse you anyhow of being a hoaxer. Forget it. Just you've got over 1,200 of these. This book alone has 617 clear, crystal clear UFO photos. Look at these.
Wow.
I mean,
And
multiple objects.
Are these extraterrestrials still communicating, or did they stop?
No. They are especially communicating with them now because there have been very specific warnings about some of the things that are happening and that are related to our world and our government, and mistakes that if we continue to make are going to bring very bad consequences to everybody.
So I've got to ask then, Michael, why are you involved? Are you fearful for your own personal safety when speaking about any of this?
No. I got involved with this. I grew up in front of a TV set and then radio before that as a kid. Space things were interesting. I saw another photo book similar to this from this man years ago, and it's just like changed my reality. But what happened is, after you get over the UFOs and the extraterrestrial, you go, okay, what can I do with the UFO? What can I do with that?
Run.
What? Well,
Fly.
Sure, but what can I do with the information?
Yeah.
I wanted to prove the prophecies wrong.
So you initially went in sort of as a skeptic.
A little bit.
Yeah.
It resonated with me.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just honestly, it resonated with me. But when I read the different prophetic information, when I read the predictions, I thought, look, I'll tell you, in 1981, this man says the United States of America will have 2 coming civil wars. I said, what's this guy on?
Yeah.
Civil wars in America.
Yeah.
I'm not laughing anymore. I don't think a lot of people are. The polarization that we are engaging in our world, it doesn't take an extraterrestrial to tell us that we're on the wrong path with that. But it is helpful if we look and we determine for ourselves how truthful this is, what resonates with us, because this isn't about sci-fi. It isn't about like I was speaking here a moment ago with Ian. It's talks about ancient aliens, or we talk about Star Trek. All of these things come to get us to connect more with what life is about, what our relationships with each other are about, and how these eternal principles, they don't require that we have to join a cult or anything else or a political party. We have to start to think and think clearly and rationally.
So now that you know what you know, how are you living your life differently?
Well, we talked about a gratitude process in the morning and all, and I think that's been something that's been real for me for a long time. But I try to see in everybody and everything that interconnectedness, that love thing that exists. It doesn't have to be grabbing everybody. There's people I don't like that I love. You're right.
Right.
Because you go another
You
universe.
can be related to them.
We're all
right.
Yes.
For
we're
sure.
all connected. That interconnectedness, that is that certainty.
Have you ever connected to anyone from another universe?
Not that I know of. I have received some information that was forwarded to me by Meyer from these people that turned out to be quite right. It was to avoid a trap that had been set for us by somebody who wanted to harm the case and the people involved. I'm one of 130 or so eyewitnesses to the craft. But, you know, you go, okay.
So you've seen it?
A lot of people have had sightings. Now, the thing is, most sightings are secret military craft. That's what the Navy and the Pentagon don't want to tell you.
Yeah.
Because, let's face it, if a country, if a government, if a military organization says there are beings that exist over whom we have no control or constraint, that produces insecurity. That's why these people are not landing. They're not coming down, because we can't handle that. We've got to get our own relationships with each other together and learn how do we manage our lives. Don't worry about that yet. We are not going to meet these people. They're not coming to attack us. There's either harm or help when something approaches us that is unknown to us.
Rob, I nominate you if they ever to speak on our behalf. You come in peace, Rob. It's right on your brand.
We come in peace. We come in
The world
With
depends
love
on me.
and
We might be in
prosper.
trouble.
Did you ever notice that when people go peace to each other, it's like this?
Yeah.
It's not like this. The peace symbol is upside down, literally. Our peace symbol is a symbol, an ancient symbol for war. It's the rune for war. It's this down into the earth. This peace symbol moves up like this. It is the tree of life, the real peace symbol. When you turn the peace symbol right side up, you get the tree of life.
Boy.
So
Profound.
Yes.
all of our peace demonstrations where we're running around with a symbol for war and conflict.
Ah.
That's why we haven't
ironic.
produced it through that.
Yeah.
Right.
How very human of us.
Very
Very earth cute.
Oh, you know, when you start to learn more about the information, this man has published, he has one hand. He transcribes his information with one hand in German at up to 100 words a minute.
Wow.
And he's published 45,000 plus pages.
45,000.
Why him, though? Why this one-handed man in Germany?
Well, you know, it's got to be somebody, doesn't it? And the way I look at it, because there have been in the past 6 other people historically, and we know their names going back a ways, who have been quote unquote prophet or contactee for more advanced human beings. Just like we try to help people in school that are learning and we know something. It's the way the universe works. It's not a hierarchy of, you know, celebrity status. As a matter of fact, this man has lived a very incredible life and a very brutal one as well. He has his left arm ripped off his body in a bus accident, and he knew it was coming. I mean, you know.
Yeah.
So this man, the reason why is it's something about his spirit that is quite ancient. Not a soul a term we use, but the spirit, that immortal part of us, that with this particular man is extremely ancient, and his previous incarnations, if we want to go there, have performed this function in the past over thousands of years to try to bring to us, to earth humanity, a spiritual teaching, not a belief system, not a religion, a teaching of how life works. And if we learn without being compelled or forced, without believing or not believing, if we learn, we start to improve those aspects of our life that kind of impel us to learn more. And he's published specific books on how to think, how to live, which are just, you could say, recommendations, as his alleged friends have poured recommendations into our world.
Wow,
as
so
well.
cool. I'm convinced Jez has a speed dial to him for stock tips because
Yeah.
apparently you're
The
pretty
trading
down.
bell, yes. Thank you, extraterrestrials.
So if folks want to sort of take action and begin to control the controllable and sort of understand sort of what that spiritual sort of system is that can help uplift the world, where can they find more information?
I have a blog that's very active. It's, pardon me, I'm a little hoarse. We were running through airports last night and missing planes. It's called theyflyblog.com. And you're giving me the idea to do something a little crazy, which is I'm also a documentarian. I've produced 4 films on this case. I want to give away to your audience one of those films, probably the best UFO film ever made that we put out.
Oh, thank
so all the
you.
people have to do is contact me through my blog or website, theyfly.com or theyflyblog. They email me.
I'll have to get on that right now. Everybody else to the punch.
We'll do it.
Chill.
Then when I'm back at my computer, when I get the email, I'll send them the first film called The Silent Revolution of Truth that we actually shot it in 2006, and you'll see some of the things that we're going through right now. I was talking about the prophecies and predictions, the environmental damage, the migrant crisis that started in Europe and all, that is spreading worldwide. What they have told us what will come of certain things, not just because they're not crazy-eyed psychics, the laws of cause and effect. And they have access to things like time travel, we're told. And so far, we have charted well over 250 specific, prophetically accurate examples of scientific, environmental, and geopolitical information. And they haven't missed yet because we haven't listened.
Yeah.
So, pardon me for destroying your set. But
It's okay, relatively speaking. Not
Relatively
don't worry
speaking.
about the set. We're worried about the planet.
Well, thank you so much. We
It's a
appreciate
pleasure.
you and all your time. Thank you for the generosity of your film as well. Stay tuned. We'll be back with more on EverTalk Live. 5, 4, 3, 2. Happy New Year, everyone. I'm your host, Jez Mouillet, aka The Trading Bell. What a morning it will be. Due to recent news, we're expecting that the market will be down today, but that could potentially present some opportunity for us. Let's take a look at our watch list. One of the things that differentiates The Trading Bell from any of the other stock shows, other than we do live trading, is everything that we do is on camera, so you can see it as it happens. You are seeing what's happening right now in this moment. 2020, it's all about money, money, money. That is my motto. Remember, money never sleeps, pal. That's right. That's why I'm here trading in Los Angeles live with you at the opening bell. Whew, sun is not even up yet, but the stocks are on the move. Numbers are moving faster than I can even speak. Well, let's face it. I'm excited. I'm thrilled. I've got goosebumps. This is a history in the making. Top of the list, SVRA up 154% this morning. Filled BVI at 162. Ah, that feels good. BPH, Spring Bake Pharmaceuticals up 22%. That is going to make for a very sweet start to 2020. Filled. Woo! That feels good. Just a disclaimer, this is an entertainment show, so please don't treat any of the information you hear on the show as an investment advice, because trading is risky. Let's end the year strong. Visit EverTalk TV, Facebook, or Instagram at The Trading Bell. Remember, every dream has its price. What's yours? Live from Los Angeles, welcome back to EverTalk Live on this hashtag Wisdom Wealth Wednesday. We've got Ian Winner in the house. He is a philanthropist, an investor, and of course a writer. Ubiquitous Relativity. Great title.
Thank you.
By the way, I feel like it says it all.
It does.
What is that to you? Ubiquitous Relativity.
It's a way of thinking that if we assume that as humans, connection is what makes us human, which I do. Each of the 7.5 billion people in the world senses the world completely differently. You know, you talked about wearing contact lenses. So we have different vision, different senses. And each of the 7.5 billion people have different emotions attached to those senses. And as a result of that, we each live in our own universe. And that the only way to truly connect with somebody is to not apply the laws of my universe to the universe, to not assume that what I think is the way everybody should think, and to appreciate the fact that since we do each live in our own universe, I've got to learn a lot about you in order to really get to know you, because even our most close, intimate relationships, we know very, very little about their universes. And so that's how I think people can connect better, is by pausing on that judgment, by waiting and saying, what do I not know about this situation, as opposed to, what do I think I know about this situation? And so it's a process of unthinking, therefore I am, as opposed to I think, therefore I am. And it's really about, the two of us can smell turkey, and maybe your memories of Thanksgiving are wonderful and mine might be terrible. And so the two of us can experience a scent and go in completely different directions in terms of the way our emotions are attached to that sense. And you may walk away saying, oh, wow, this is great. And I may say, ugh, not so exciting. And you could be like, what's wrong with you? You don't love Thanksgiving? And the only way we get through that is by asking each other why.
Oh, I just love this. I think the first time I discovered the psychology of separate realities was through Richard Carlson, the guy that wrote Don't Sweat the Small Stuff. He wrote all these other books. And, you know, I remember thinking, oh my goodness, this is profound. Like when I say, I love you, this means something dramatically different to the person who I'm saying it to than it does to me. And that most relationship problems kind of break down to sort of understanding that. So for a person out there, any of us who want then to connect better by sort of understanding and applying ubiquitous sort of relativity, where do we start? I mean, part of it is sort of beginning to maybe unthink, like you said, but how do we get ourselves, wrap our arms around like connecting in a better, more enjoyable way by applying this principle?
So there's 5 parts to the book. The last part are actually 5 exercises that I do to help me appreciate this world of ubiquitous relativity. And one of the ones I think that is the best is what I call a comfort zone departure. And so if the assumption is that the bigger our universe, the more experiences we have, the easier it's going to be to connect with people, then the more things that we do, the likelihood that we're going to increase our connections. I'll give you a perfect example, right? Like, actually, I can use from this show. Right? I'm sitting on the other side of the wall there, right? All I hear is the conversation. Now, my initial judgment about UFOs or aliens or all the different things are only based on my life experience. So I may judge that just based on what I hear and say, that sounds crazy to me. I got really no interest in that. Or I can say, well, hold on a second. How do I know that that's not true? And even if I don't believe it, why should I cross off a potential connection just because I hear something that, based on my life experience, sounds nutty? And it's the same thing with everything. It's like when I was in New York, if I heard somebody was a vegan, right? I was like, are you crazy? Like, what red-blooded American doesn't eat meat? Had I ever met a vegan? No. Had I ever had vegan food? No. And so here I was making this great judgment about people without any knowledge whatsoever of any of it. And so when I came out here, I tried vegan food. And while it's okay, at least I know what's on the menu. At least I know that when I meet somebody and they say they're a vegan, I can at least understand what they eat. And so the only way that I do that is by putting a note in the calendar. What have I not eaten? Here's a food I haven't eaten. What's the action step? I'm going to make a reservation at a restaurant, maybe bring some friends and try this. And nobody's saying that after that meal you have to love veganism, or you have to love whatever that is. But once you try it, you've now expanded your world a little bit and given yourself an opportunity that the next time you meet a vegan, you're not going to have that same judgment that you had before.
Absolutely. It's all about the context of the communication as well. We're meant to see your facial reaction, to hear your tone, not just read the communication via text, right? And to connect one-on-one, not just meanwhile texting 7 other people.
That's right.
Right?
And so, I mean, look at it this way. How many times have I can speak for myself, I've sent a text to somebody thinking it was the most important thing in the world, and I get K as a response. And I just go down the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Don't these people understand how important this is? It's usually my wife. Doesn't she understand how important this is? And meanwhile, who knows what she's doing? She could be riding in the car. She could be in a meeting. But I've only looked at the world through my lens. And so because we lose that context, because we're unable to see sort of sarcasm and facial expressions and things that make us human, it's very hard to form any kind of connection. And I can have 18 conversations at once on my text if I want to, with smiley faces and this and that. How you feeling? Sad, but there's no real connection. And so for me, it's hard work, but I set up phone calls with friends. I set up coffee, lunch with friends.
Oh, what a novel idea.
Right? It's crazy, isn't it?
Actually connecting. But at what point in your career did you pivot? Because you spent over 20 years on Wall Street as a trader, as an investor in finance. When did you become an author and a philanthropist? What made you?
Well, I had a couple of chance encounters, and one of them was actually, it was in 2016, and I was at a stoplight, and I had just had surgery to repair a deviated septum on my nose, and my nose was running profusely. And so the only way I could hold myself together was to basically have my finger up my nose.
a car pulls up next to me at the stoplight, and a woman's in her car, and I look over, and she looked at me and just starts shaking her head, because all she sees is a guy picking his nose. She doesn't know that in my universe, I'm just trying to hold myself together. So I started to realize that these crack judgments happen all day long. And then the election happened. And I heard all my friends and everybody, I just had to unfriend all these people because of who they voted for. And everybody started saying how polarized we are. And my opinion, we're not that polarized. Certainly not more than we have been. We had civil war with millions of casualties. Look at the videos of the 1960s. The difference now is it feels that way because we've chosen to communicate in 280 word character sound bites on Twitter or on Facebook, and can anonymously be nasty to each other with no consequence. So all that stuff got me to thinking about how this concept really could make a difference. It's made a huge difference for me. I'm not a coach. It may not work for anybody else. It may not work for me tomorrow, but right now it helps me connect with people. And I felt so strongly about carrying that message that after 22 years in trading on Wall Street, I decided, you know what, I didn't want to do it anymore. And I wanted to go out and try to carry this message and do other things where I can help connect with people. And as a result, I've had more intimate conversations over the last year with people I haven't talked to since graduating West Point 23 years ago, and have had the opportunity to have these conversations that never would have occurred if I had not really stopped and thought about like what really matters to me here. And right now, this is it.
Just fantastic. So many thoughts are going through my head. I just love the topic. I love the theme. I think one of the things that occurs to me, part of what I hear you saying is that, there's an opportunity, of course, to broaden our perspectives and sort of appreciate ubiquitous relativity and also like the psychology of separate realities. And then secondly, that communication goes beyond just sort of a head-to-head kind of interaction. There's something heart-to-heart that happens that doesn't require you agreeing with the other person in order to connect and still get along.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I use the example of if you saw somebody on the street who was struggling and you had to perform CPR on them, are you, before you do it, are you asking them if they watch Rachel Maddow or Tucker Carlson? Right. Probably not. So there is it is okay to have somebody in your life who you disagree with. Yeah. That's okay. And so that's what this is about. It's about not losing connections with people simply over things that we judge based on what we see and we hear, and affording ourselves the opportunity to keep people in our lives and to form new connections by just asking why. Yeah. Why do you support that candidate? How come you think that? As opposed to just crossing you off my list and never speaking to you again.
Yeah. One of the things I've been reading a lot about recently is the Dunning-Kruger effect thing, where essentially the less somebody knows about something, the more full of conviction they are in the limited ideas and beliefs and information that they do have,
right?
Which is profound. So often the people that are most certain are the ones that know the least, right? Mm-hmm. And so I wonder about that, and I wonder about the ways in which people can, I guess they just welcome the opportunities to have sort of more inclusive conversations, but how do they begin to diversify their thoughts?
Well, it's all about getting out of your comfort zone. It's all about admitting to yourself, and this is one of the hardest things, that you don't know, that I don't know. It's easy for me to say I'm certain because as humans, we love certainty. We love the 10 Commandments. We love rules. We want to know how to live to have a great life. Yeah. And if we don't know that, then it gets confusing. And so to go from certainty to uncertainty means going out of your comfort zone and having a dinner party or going out with friends that they're from different elements of the spectrum. But it's that uncertainty that allows us that connection.
Well, you say it right on the cover of your book, right? My truth is not the truth.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
And that is all truth. Right there. Please tell everyone where they can find and follow you and, of course, get your book.
Sure. So my website's www.ianweiner.com. I'm on Instagram and LinkedIn and Twitter, and I have a blog. All my information's on the website. Hit me up, and I'm always happy to talk as well. So, and let's stress that.
Ian Weiner, appreciate you, buddy.
Thank you very much.
Stay tuned. We'll be back for more on EverTalk Live.
night I dreamt and you were there. But when I woke in the morning, it didn't feel real. Putting the pieces back together, finding a strength I never knew. Start again, this time it's gonna be different. I'm learning to breathe again, this time it's gonna feel different. The past is in the past, some things just never last. Learn to let go, start again. Start again.
Let's go.
Happy Wednesday, guys. Welcome back to EverTalk Live. Today's been one of the deepest shows I think we've had, right?
What an incredible honor it was to be able to really, truly connect
Yeah.
with these incredible human beings. Have to clarify the human part, of course. We had Michael on. We were actually having a conversation about extraterrestrials, living beings on other planets that are actually communicating, and it's verified.
I know, it's wild. I'm gonna have to definitely check out the book. And I've got to do more research around this. I didn't realize all the predictions that were made that turned out to be accurate. I mean, pretty incredible.
I said it once, I'll say it again. I nominate Rob to speak on human beings. Yeah, we come in peace.
You don't want to put the fate of human beings in my hands.
Oh my goodness.
I'm the guy that goes, takes a nap.
But Ian Weiner too. I mean, what a cool guy. 22 years on Wall Street and now just taking time, he and his wife traveling the world, giving back and just connecting.
Oh my goodness, I completely agree. And I love what he's saying because if you're really listening closely, I mean, he's sort of identified the greatest challenge that we all face when we're connecting with other people, which is thinking that one, first of all, that we know, and second of all, thinking that we need to agree in order to get along or in order to connect with each other, which is just ridiculous.
My truth is not the truth.
Absolutely, well said.
I'm so grateful to be here with you, Rob.
I am too, Jazz, so much.
And we're grateful that we're coming back tomorrow because we are live Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. for all things happiness in Hollywood, pop culture, and positivity, even extraterrestrial.
That's right, so if you got UFO stories, you can DM, of course, us, also DM the author, and great interview. Anyway, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great day on purpose.
Happy Wednesday, Rob.